Hey there, it's Noah, back and ready to share an update. Let's start with the diet update. I'm 167.2. I think that might be like 0.2 pounds larger than yesterday, or the exact same, something like that. Very sad. What did I eat today? Well, if I'm remembering correctly, I had a slice of keto-approved cheesecake with xylitol, a scrambled egg with cheese on top, and a stuffed bell pepper with cheese on top as well. That's what I ate. Later on, I had a little bit of beef jerky and homemade keto-approved meatloaf. Oh yeah. With an A&W zero sugar. Oh, and a cheese stick. And I think that might actually be it for today. Well, now that we've got that covered, any exercise? I walked around the neighborhood a little bit. That's about it. Nothing really that crazy, if I'm being honest. Maybe that's why I'm stuck at the same weight. I'm not moving enough. Very bad. Well, now let's move on to the daily update. So, I was woken up by my mom this morning. She was like poking and prodding me with like my phone and asking me to use ChatGPT to work on a construction project with her. She wanted me to ask the the picture generation model to generate pre-visualization shots of what the room we're working on will ultimately look like finally when it's completed. I was super tired and I didn't want to get up because I just I was just getting up basically. So I stayed in bed and tried to go back to sleep. Then I heard that breakfast was ready. So I immediately got out of bed and I went to have me some breakfast. I ate what I described earlier, and after eating that, it was then time to do pre-visualization. And this pretty much included taking pictures of the back room while it's still being worked on, and then asking ChatGPT's O4 image generation tool to make images that were pretty much going to show us a good idea of what the final kitchenette that we're working on will look like. We got some good progress in, but it ultimately took like 2.5 hours because the O4 image generation tool takes a long time. And when you get results, they're not always what you want, and so you have to be very careful with how you describe to the image generator what you want from it. You even have to send it like sample pictures and divvy things up yourself, like photoshopping certain elements in there, sending it back, asking it to make it look more professional, and then it does do it. But half the time it feels like you're rolling the dice hoping you get the perfect score. So it's not a foolproof method, but with enough guidance and direction you get pretty decent results. Yeah, I even used my Samsung Galaxy S24 Ultra's AI edit mode where I could circle things, grab them, move them around, turn objects into stickers, put them in the scene. Then once I had what I wanted, or what my mom wanted, I would put them through the image generator to make them look more finalized and in the shot naturally. So that was pretty harrowing thing. Well, not really, just really tedious and annoying, but we did manage to get it in there. Well, after we were done, my mom allowed a hour break before we'd go to our nearest hardware store to pick up some wood to build a trash can holder. So I spent that time listening to the latest Digital Foundry Direct while playing Another Crab's Treasure on my Nintendo Switch. That did get me curious to see if Another Crab's Treasure was being played on the Switch 2 on YouTube or on a modded Switch, but no such luck. I guess the game's a bit too niche. Like, there's not enough people who are begging for what the game looks like on that platform, like on more powerful kit or with overclocks or whatever. So I guess I'm just the only audience for that very limited audience. Interesting. Well, after that hour was up, it was time to go to the store. We went, we picked up some wood for planks, I believe. We stopped by the nail hammers to see if we could find one that was a good price. The best price we found was $112. We didn't feel like spending that much on it, so we left it. And my mom and I went to the front. She paid for the planks. We went to the car, we loaded them up, and then we drove home. Yeah. When we got home, we put the boards away, and then my mom wanted my help cutting pieces of wood from the back of the garden, throwing them away in the green trash can. So we did that. Well, I did that as she was doing her own work on the side. And then when dinner was ready that our family friend prepared, it was keto-friendly meatloaf made with turkey meat. We had ourselves 2 big slices, and it was really good. I really enjoyed that. She actually used the keto bread, the Arrowwheat branded one, and cut that into the meatloaf instead of using normal bread, which I thought was a pretty interesting substitute. I haven't really seen that before, and it tasted pretty good, so thumbs up from me. Well, after we were done, we were curious about stories about people who win the lottery and what happens to them. And it was like a guy on YouTube who was talking about the different horror story, things that happen to various people involved in winning lottery tickets. Like, for example, people who have a winning ticket but lose it. Ultimately, I'm going to use the Papa Meat term, the sewer slide. Yeah. There you go. Then there's people who make it completely public, and then they die under mysterious circumstances where they get cyanide poisoning, and their relatives who cooked their last meal get their food or their money. Yeah. And then you have lawyers who pretend like they're doing you a service, but ultimately they are actually taking advantage of your lack of knowledge of managing your own finances by basically overcharging you and running away with your money. So basically, if you find out that you win the lottery, try not to say anything. Don't put a face to the name. See if you can change all of your means of contact from your mail, your email, your phone number, everything. And honestly, the best thing you could probably do is go to a secluded area, like somewhere in nature or in the mountains, so no one and also a place where no one really knows you, so that way you just look like, the average person just coming and getting a cabin or something. It's apparently what the video was suggesting. Pretty interesting, I would say. Well, after we were done watching that, my mom needed to go to a event, so she left. And then I did a whole lot of research on Grok 3. I ran out of my ChatGPT subscription today, so I was using Grok 3, and I was basically talking about more financial information for future reference. I found a lot of interesting information. Yeah. Well, after I was done with that, I decided to listen to a guy talk about how Apple is slowly killing their momentum with their greed, and how it's causing their stock to drop sharply. Instead of focusing on innovation, they're focusing on pleasing their investors, which wasn't what Apple was originally about. So it's causing quite an uproar for sure. A very stagnant approach to their way of doing business. It was a pretty interesting video. I really, really did enjoy it. And as I was listening to that, I was playing the video game Another Crab's Treasure, but this time on my PlayStation 5, where it was at a much higher resolution and also at a much better frame rate, with like better textures and everything. I just like the way the game can be played portably, although I know there's Steam Decks do exist, I'm aware, but I mean, I got it on Switch, and that's where I play it portably, on Switch. And I know it looks really ugly and it runs not the best, but it's available, I suppose, and it runs. So I get a good time playing out of that one. But the PS5 version is the one I chose, and I beat the Mantis Shrimp again. That felt pretty good. Very focused and intentful with how I dodged and defeated the boss. I gotta be honest, when I was playing Other Crab's Treasure on my Switch, I used the shotgun power-up, which is like an assist that you can put on in the menu. I actually didn't know that. When I was looking at videos about how to pass certain bosses and stuff in that video game Another Crab's Treasure, I always assumed that the gun, the pistol, was just a special weapon you unlock late in the game or something like. But apparently it's something that the developers just hand you if you want like an easy way out. And on the Switch version, I gotta be honest, I used that thing way too much. Like, it's how I was able to basically just cheat my way throughout like the ravenous crab in the Sands Between area, the boss in the area with like the worker crabs. Yeah, I completely cheated by using that weapon, like basically an I win button. But with the PS5 version, I have made a solemn oath to not use the I win button and beat the game fair and square, so it actually feels like I earned what I earned and that I didn't phone anything in. So yeah. Well, anyways, got a little caught up on that after playing Another Crab's Treasure on my PS5, where I managed to beat the Mantis Shrimp. I got some of my umami abilities charged up, and then I was able to beat the ravenous crab in the Sands Between. I was able to, get pretty far just by sheer skill. Not bad at all. Well, I shut off the game after playing it for a good 2 hours, and then afterwards I said hello to my sister, my mom, and our family friend. We hung around at the kitchen for a little while, and my sister was showing me old childhood games we used to play when we were younger on the PC, like the Laffy Taffy Pyramid game, and also the Minnesota Cuke PC game from like back in the early mid 2000s, stuff like that. It was a real blast from the past, especially the Minnesota Cuke one. Well, after experiencing that nostalgia, I took my vitamins, I brushed my teeth, I said goodnight to my mom and my sister, and now I'm here recording this video. So that's pretty much the day. Thanks for listening, and we're gonna have a really good work day tomorrow, 1 to 10. I'm hoping to get some more work done on my Brain Jam channel. You know, some personal, fulfilling work that makes me feel like I'm working towards something big instead of just doing the same thing day in, day out again, which, not gonna lie, would drive me absolutely nuts. Well, I'll see you guys in the next one, and take care. Bye.